fuddy-duddy, non-committal. And you know what? You want to improve the pace of play in Major League Baseball? Maybe you ought to go back to those 1968 ways. Yes, you heard me. I know that's a bit extreme. 112 ERA leads the league. 301 batting average leads the league. But still, games were shorter back then. And if you're looking for consistently close games, if you're looking for baseball games with a quicker pace of play, then 4 words for you. Outs are our friends. It's as simple as that. And that's one of the things I cannot understand about modern baseball. For one thing, that was Bud Selig. And Bud Selig, we were talking a little bit about this earlier in the week, around the All-Star week, how Bud Selig said that, oh no, it hurt me to watch Barry Bonds break Hank Aaron's home run record. And so I have to ask you a question. I know that in Kennesaw Mountain Landis's day, there was no baseball players union. I get that. But, Bart Giamatti could kick as huge of a star as Pete Rose was out for cheating. So, how again is it, Bud Selig, that you couldn't do the same to a McGuire, to a Bonds, to all of that? And also, frankly, and I've said this right now, you listen to old-time ball players, real old-time ball players, and always say, the home run is emphasized too much. Now, I know the analytics people, they'll come out and they'll say, no, it isn't. It is not, too much. They'll talk about that. But the situation is there's more to baseball than the appeal of watching people hit home runs. And, there's turning double plays and stealing home and exciting catches and all of that sort of stuff. So, it's literally, limitless, the appeals of baseball. Home runs, maybe the most glamorous, but, not the only glamorous aspect of the game. And so why was it that, basically baseball 20 years ago, when McGuire and Social were tracing Roger Maris, and they said, oh, the home run's going to bring back baseball. And maybe they needed more than just dingers to do so. And maybe the idea, and there was always the whispering. Heck, there was the whispering of Jose Canseco circa 1990 with Fay Vincent. Peter Ueberroth even. The steroids were not as well known about back then, at least to the modern, the everyday public or the media. Question is this. Look, if this is that big of a problem, if you realize that your game is being bastardized, if it's becoming a home run derby, if you're going to be miserable to see Hank Aaron's home run record surpassed by Barry Bonds, and folks, you should have been able to see that coming around the time that Barry Bonds was hitting 73 home runs and looking at the pace that he would have to go to at that point to catch Hank Aaron, because you could see it coming. Then why wasn't Bud Selig more proactive right then and really saying, okay, I understand players union, you want to protect the players, but they're cheating. We can't have that. And if we got to have an all-out Donnybrook over this, it's not going to look real good for you to say that, we're going to protect the rights of the ball players to make their bodies, enhance them artificially to cheat. That's not going to be a good look for the players union if that's the argument that you want to make. Problem is, I think, is that Selig was always sympathetic to the union. If you look at the political donations that Selig has made over the years, it's public record, Yeah, they've all gone. They're 100% Democrat. Unions tend to back the Democrat Party. Now, that's Selig's right. He can do that all, that's okay. He's an American. That's fine. But doesn't it show you a lack of willing to take the bull by the horns, take on the union when the union would have needed to be taken on? Doesn't it show Selig as a weak commissioner who would have the players' union control the game? And I think that is exactly what has gone on and continues to go on to this day. New commissioner is Rob Manfred. And Rob Manfred can get the Cleveland Indians to take Chief Wahoo off of their uniform. And Rob Manfred can get rid of intentional walks. And Rob Manfred can limit the amount of times that ball player or you can make mound visits and a bunch of other things that either are stupid or have absolutely no impact. Want to improve the pace of play? Okay, you've got to embrace the idea outs are our friends. I could do a commentary, new stadiums with deeper center fields, for instance, so that it doesn't become nothing but home run derby and all this. You have to have more of pitching, if you will, than just throwing. Again, abolishing the DH. Oh, the union will never allow that. They want to put it in the National League. Tell me again, especially if that happens, who then controls the game? The players' union or the commissioner's office? Anyway, Rob Manfred now is saying that he can't even keep the fans in the ballpark safe.
What you have to hang the netting off as you go further down the line. Obviously, what happens in most ballparks, and they're all different, is that you slope away, and there's nothing to hang the net that would protect people further down the line. It would require construction, poles, obstruction of seats that, it's very difficult to do in the middle of the year.
But not impossible. I've sat next to someone who was hit with a bat. I mean, right next to, and it happened so fast, you can't even contemplate, wait a minute, that could have been me, I'm only a few feet away. That's how fast it happens. Now, it's worthwhile to happen. But Rob Manfred, I can't do that.
Say to the clubs, everybody has to do X on netting. Mm-hmm. That is an approach that is unlikely to be successful given that we're in the middle of a season and that there are differences in terms of infrastructure that it would make it difficult for some clubs to comply with that rule.
Does that not sound like a bunch of mumbo-jumbo? I mean, really, does that not sound like a bunch? I mean, if people's safety... You had a fan die last year. And you're giving me, well, the infrastructure would be difficult. Really? That's just, I mean, and just going after the wrong thing. What do I want to know? I've been talking now the Atlantic League, which is an independent baseball league. I know some things about independent minor league baseball. I've been play-by-play broadcaster in the independent minors. And this is what I think Selig's ultimate legacy will be. And he talks about this, that, we needed change. He doesn't explain. Well, I ran this comment earlier in the week, but it's worth repeating. Here's Bud Selig.
One thing you have to learn once you're a commissioner of a sport, whatever you do, somebody's going to be mad. Just the way it is. So, all the changes were difficult, but beyond necessary. The sport hadn't really changed since the 20s or 30s, and that was painful. And we were paying a price for it.
Why? World Series ratings were double before you were the commissioner, Bud Selig, what they are now. Seems like your change has really paid the price. Now, if I can go a little bit further here, and I'll give you this idea about change in baseball and all this. And again, I don't want to be one of these guys. I mean, they give you the Abe Simpson meme, and you know, today is bad and all this. I mean, change. Yeah, I like getting rid of chewing tobacco in baseball. Think that's a good thing. By the way, the players' union fought that. Okay, I mean, I just want to go and explain what you've got. This is where you have to absolutely take the bull by the horns and say, Commissioner of Baseball, let's see, what union busters can we hire to be the... I mean, it's just about to that end. But I'll give you this example about change. One of the things that Bud Selig is happy about is the wild card, that he instituted 3 divisions, and so finishing in second place and now third, or shall we really just say fifth, hey, you can win a World Series. Used to be you had to finish first. In Hardball Times, there's an article that came out, and it talks about how division play came about in baseball in the late 60s. And basically, baseball was expanding. And I will say this, that yes, when you have 12 teams in a league and not 8, you know, the turn of someone finishing in first place is not going to happen as often as it will if you have, say, an 8-team league. I mean, heck, the turn for the St. Louis Browns in 50-odd years only came once in an 8-team league. So how long was the Browns were no more, but there was always going to be a poor team, you know, the Pirates, the Mariners, somebody like that, that was going to go a long time without finishing first. Heck, the Pirates haven't finished first. They've made the wild card, but they haven't finished first since 1992. All right. So the idea there was that the divisions, and the American League was all for it, but they would help teams, you know, finish in first place and would have more competition. We get that. Okay, that's good. The National League didn't want to do it, though, because they foresaw 1973, where, yeah, a real weak team in one division, the Mets at 82 and 79, could beat in the pennant playoffs the best team in their league, the Reds, and, well, why did we play 162 again? I don't know. Here come the Mets into the World Series. They foresaw that. Now Bud Selig champions not having 2 teams make it, but 5. And that's the thing. About half of baseball is really trying to finish 5th, knowing now it's as good as finishing first. And that doesn't lead to making the best team out there. Garrett Cole used to play for the Pirates, now he's with the Astros. He has even said so much. And he's talked about, and says, look, this is disappointing to see. You're coming to Major League games to see the best players, and at least 50% of the league doesn't give a expletive about winning or having the best players on the field. What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on. You know, the Cleveland Indians, who are in the race for the wild card, not so much the division, are even talking about trading away their best pitcher, Trevor Bauer. They're in the pennant race. What it is. But you know what? Can probably finish 5th without him. Yeah. And you're telling me that expanding the playoffs was good? I don't see it. And yet you've got modern media, you've got the Craig Calcaterras saying, oh, look, baseball doesn't want to change. Change isn't necessarily bad, but change for change's sake is. That's what they're doing in the Atlantic League. Maybe Bud Selig should be the commissioner of that.